People at the wedding would later swear they only laughed a little. But if you ask Daniel Harper, the single dad who changed everything, he'll tell you exactly when the room fell silent. It was the moment he stood up, walked toward the girl everyone mocked, and said the words that turned an entire wedding upside down. What he said would make even the cruelest person rethink what it means to be human. But before that moment, something else happened, something none of them saw coming. Amelia Brooks had learned to pretend she didn't hear the whispers. She'd grown up with them, at school, in cafes, on sidewalks, whenever her size entered a room before she did. But today was different. Today, she was at her cousin Chloe's wedding, surrounded by family who smiled with their mouths but judged with their eyes. She wore a soft lavender dress that she had spent weeks sewing herself. It hugged her body in places she disliked, but it made her feel beautiful. At least, she hoped it would. She kept touching the bracelet her late mother had given her. Her mother's handwritten note taped inside the box still lived in her head. "You are enough, exactly as you are." Amelia repeated that line every time she felt her throat tighten. The ceremony had gone smoothly, and the guests moved into the reception hall decorated with white roses and golden lanterns. Children ran across the dance floor, the band tuned their instruments, and couples posed for pictures. Amelia sat at a round table near the corner, trying to blend into the background. She didn't expect attention, she didn't want it, but she got it anyway. At the next table, a group of Chloe's friends' women who believed beauty was measured on a scale and fashion was defined by who could breathe the least kept glancing in Amelia's direction. The ringleader, a woman named Sierra, lifted her phone and whispered loudly, "I swear that chair's begging for mercy." The table laughed. Amelia's ears burned. She fixed her gaze on the centerpiece, willing herself not to react. "Someone get her an extra plate before she eats the whole buffet," Sierra added. Another wave of laughter. Amelia's stomach twisted, not because of her weight, but because the cruelty was too familiar. She placed her hands under the table so no one would see them trembling. Across the room, Daniel Harper watched quietly. Daniel was not the type who enjoyed crowds. As a single father to 8-year-old Lily, he had learned to keep his world simple: work, home, Lily, repeat. He didn't know most people at the wedding, but he was invited because the groom, Ethan, was his childhood friend. He would have left early if not for his daughter. Lily adored weddings, the music, the dancing, the dresses, the magic of it all. And right now, she was spinning around the dance floor in her little yellow dress, giggling like sunshine. Daniel's attention drifted toward the laughter at Sierra's table. He didn't like the tone-sharp, mean, practiced. Then he saw the target, a girl sitting alone, staring at her hands, pretending the world wasn't cutting her into small pieces. His jaw tightened. Meanwhile, the photographer announced the beginning of the fun group games, something Chloe had insisted on doing to keep guests entertained. The first game was simple. The host would call out a category, and whoever fit it would come to the dance floor. "All right, everyone. First category, people wearing purple or lavender." Amelia froze. Her dress was lavender. That meant she had to go up. Sierra noticed instantly and smirked. "Come on, girl. Don't be shy. The floor won't crack." Amelia's chest hurt, but she stood up anyway. Her legs felt heavy, her heart beat loud in her ears. She forced a smile, thin, fragile, and walked toward the dance floor under 100 eyes. The host continued. "Now, everyone in lavender, do a little twirl." The crowd cheered for the 3 others. For Amelia, they snickered. She twirled anyway. Not for them, for herself, for her mother's voice echoing in her heart, "You are enough." Then, it happened. The host announced the next category, people who came without a date. The crowd encouraged everyone to stay on the floor if they fit. Amelia stayed. So did Daniel. They were only a few feet apart now, but Amelia didn't notice him. She was too busy trying not to disappear. The mocking restarted behind her. "Look at her," Sierra whispered loudly. "Imagine someone showing up single looking like that." Amelia's throat tightened. Her vision blurred. That's when Lily Daniel's daughter ran onto the floor, breathless with excitement. She immediately grabbed Amelia's dress. "Hi, I love your colors. You look like a princess." Amelia blinked. "Me? Yes, can I stay with you? Everyone else looks boring." Amelia laughed softly, her first real laugh of the evening. The room turned. Whispers grew. "Why is that child with her? Someone get her away." Sierra rolled her eyes dramatically. "Lily, honey, come over here. She's not who you should be hanging with." Lily frowned. "Why not?" Sierra smiled tightly. "Because some people don't belong in the spotlight." And then it happened, the moment Daniel would never forget. He stepped forward, a quiet man whose voice rarely carried, but today it thundered. "Stop." The hall went silent. He walked toward Amelia and Lily, his posture calm but unshakably firm. He stood next to Amelia, not in front of her, not shielding her, but standing with her. He looked directly at Sierra. "My daughter decides who she wants to talk to, and she clearly has better judgment than the adults in this room." Sierra scoffed. "It was a joke." "No," Daniel said. "A joke makes people smile. What you're doing is cruelty, and it's not welcome here." The guests shifted uncomfortably. Some looked ashamed. Others avoided eye contact. Daniel turned to Amelia, lowering his voice. "You okay?" Her lip trembled. She nodded, though she clearly wasn't. He offered his hand. "Dance with us?" Amelia hesitated. I don't dance." Lily didn't give her a choice. She grabbed Amelia's hand, tugging gently. "Come on, you don't need to be perfect. Just happy." Something in Amelia melted. She nodded. Music started, a slow, warm melody. Daniel held Lily's other hand as the three of them swayed gently on the floor. Whispers faded. New ones formed, softer, thoughtful, regretful. Then people began joining them. One couple, then two, then five, until the entire room danced around them. Not to pity her, but because Daniel had shattered the cruelty with one simple act of kindness. When the song ended, Chloe rushed to Amelia and hugged her tightly. "I'm so sorry. I didn't know they'd say those things. You look beautiful." For the first time in a long time, Amelia believed the words. Daniel walked her back to her table. Lily hugged her waist before running off to play. Daniel lingered, clearing his throat. "You don't have to sit alone again," he said softly. "Come join us?" Amelia smiled, a real glowing smile. "I'd love to." The rest of the evening unfolded differently. Amelia laughed, danced again, and talked with people who saw her for who she truly was. Daniel stayed close, not hovering, just present, respectful, kind. When the night finally ended and guests started leaving, Amelia touched Daniel's arm. "Thank you," she said, "for today, for everything." He shook his head. "I didn't do anything special." "Yes," she whispered. "You did. You saw me." For the first time in years, Amelia walked out of a room feeling lighter than her body had ever allowed her to feel, not because of her weight, but because kindness had lifted something far heavier. And as Daniel watched her leave, he realized that sometimes the quietest moments create the loudest change. The girl they laughed at became the girl no one could forget.